Hi everyone, it's Kathy here, and we are starting off our Series 18 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And today is day 1, and the sketch was by Eve from Caledonia Papercraft. All of her details will be down below. Go check her out. So I am going to try really hard to unpack sketches as I go. I have chosen this ombre background for my piece of paper that I'm going to work with. I've chosen this star paper here that I will build my chevrons from, and I have the 3 bright colours down the bottom to do the banners at the bottom. Now I have put a frame around the outside with black cardstock. That's my choice. And then I have ruled in the interior lines for my faux stitching or my stamped stitching, which is what is on the sketch. Now Gia has done a running stitch on her sketch, and I've brought my stitching row in just a little bit further than where she has on hers, but that's because I wanted to put this decorative crazy stitch onto the layout. So I'm stamping mine so that it has this effect on the layout. You could actually run it through a sewing machine and do it, or you could just draw it on with faux stitching, or just not have one. You could just interpret it as having a border with just a piece of cardstock as your background, or the pattern paper as your background. So I have got a black framing on my piece of paper here that I am using as my background, and I am putting the stitching in, and that's what I've chosen to do with the sketch. That's how I've interpreted it. I love this stamp. It just looks so effective on the layout, and as you can see, it has now set up the interior of my layout. Now, of course, that then has changed the dimensions of my spacing. Now, I was going with a larger photo, so I'll talk about that shortly. Behind the chevrons, she has what looks to be some mixed media. Now, I don't want to do any smooching because that's what it looks like, but I am going to do these black ink splatters just to put that effect in behind the chevrons, and I'm using black dilution spray, and I'm just splattering it across the background. I will put that to the side so that it can dry and form a firm background to work with. I have used my Cricut to cut out a title, so while the background is drying, I am going to put together my title, and as I said, I use my Cricut, so I'm just piecing it together. Now, there are lots and lots of people who know how to do this so much better than I do, obviously. This is just how I have done it. I run all my letters through my sticker maker because it's easier and it's cleaner for me. And I'm just putting in the letters one by one. I am using my awl here to lift and place, but I'm sure there are tools that you can get proper ones, but this is what I just use. I use my awl because it's my tool that I go to for everything when I'm scrapping. And I'm just putting in the title ready to place onto my layout. Now, when I'm looking at a sketch, I have actually looked at this sketch for so long and thought about it for so long that I've done a lot of pre-planning before sitting down to work it. I do that a lot when I'm planning to use a sketch. I think about what papers I'm going to use, what photo I'm going to use, how I'm going to pull it together. So I knew I wanted to cut the chevrons. I knew I was going to use my Cricut to do it, so I just had to work out my sizing. I also knew that I wanted my chevrons to be noticeable because I knew my photos would be bigger. So I have cut bigger chevrons, and that's okay because that's my interpretation. And as a result, I'm not going to put it down the centre exactly as Eve has on her sketch. I'm going to move mine slightly to the left because my photo, when it sits over to the right, will cover it all up if I don't put it over to the left, but I want it to be noticeable as well. Now, I am just going to layer the 3 chevrons up, and I'm going to put them directly under each other, and that will form like that arrow point up the page. Now, I really like this design. It's a cool design. It's got lots of potential. I at first thought I was going to stitch even the chevrons, but then I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I would just leave them flat because I put that faux stitching around the outside. On my Cricut, I also cut out 3 different banners and the 3 different styles of borders, and that's because I was looking at the loops in Eve's sketch, and I went through Design Studio to look for 3 different loopy style borders that I could use to put down here as a shelf on the layout. Now, you could use a border punch, and I could have, because I've got many border punches, but I really liked the concept of the loopy, the freeness of the loops. So that's why I cut 3 different loopy ones using the Cricut. I also use my Cricut to cut my Polaroid frames, and I'm going to overlap them, and I did them in white because I wanted them to be true. I wanted them to be like a Polaroid. And I'm putting those over to the right. So as you can see, those chevrons, if I'd have done them smaller, they would have been lost behind that frame and photo. So that's why I did them larger. And that does use up a lot of that white empty space, but anyone who knows me, I don't particularly like a lot of empty white space on my layouts. That's personal choice. It's just the way I am. You can by all means go and follow the sketch exactly. But the whole idea about a sketch is to take the interpretation of it and put it your way, scrap your way, use your style. So I like big, I like bold, I like colourful, so that's what I've done here. I'm now adding in my title, and I am popping it up with foam tape because I want it to be up off that layout and give some dimension and depth to the layout. I really did turn my photo so that it's popping out of those frames, so that's allowing the chevron to show through in the background as well, and I just like how that has come up. Off screen, I did my journaling onto the bottom of the frame of the photo there, and then I've just set up my visual triangle with the 3 sets of 3 Nuvo drops. And you can also see that I put a paperclip to the top there that says take note, and that was from Vicky Burton. Now, in the sketch, Eve has put little hearts at the loops in her border down here, but I'm just going to add some black glitter stickles, and I'm just putting those on the points of that loop in the second row, and they become a feature across the bottom, and that drags the black down further, and that allows your eye to be equally balanced across that layout. And I do like the overall effect of this layout. It has come up quite cleanly, quite simply, and I just think it's magic. I can see that this would be a great layout. You would be able to rotate this layout to the left, to the right, upside down. This would really work in multiple directions. So have a go, everybody. Just unpack the sketch the way you want. Use your design, your colours, and it'll be amazing. I can't wait to go and see what everybody else is doing by going through the full playlist that will be linked down below. I like seeing how other people interpret sketches, and I love learning from other creators out there. So thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if I've done something to earn it. Hit that subscribe button and the notification button ready for the next one. Happy scrapping. See you in my next video.